When we first started building cloud, we decided pretty early on we're going to partner with people on the database side, on the cache side, object storage side, because we had our hands full, like just building like the core platform for hosting the apps. It's interesting in some ways because our biggest competition to Laravel Cloud is our own other product in Laravel Forge. And it's really nice, in my opinion, feels good to like genuinely offer both solutions to developers in a way where they can choose what makes sense for them. Excel came to Laracon in person in Portugal, and I kind of feel bad because the guy whose name's Peter comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, I'm Peter from Excel. You know, we're really stoked about the Laravel community. We think it's like really unique how passionate people are about Laravel, and we find that really interesting. Like, we'd love to talk to you." And it's basically like a handshake. And I'm like, "Okay, nice to meet you," pleasantries, and we go our separate ways. And I feel bad that he flew all the way to Portugal for essentially like a 3-minute conversation. But it did actually start like our real kind of back and forth between me and Excel, which ultimately did lead to us landing on a deal that made sense for both of us, you know, that we announced early last year, with basically the intention of building Laravel Cloud, Laravel Nightwatch, some of these things we've released since that, like I said, we had to make much more bigger investments in infrastructure in terms of like spend commitments, hiring, all of that stuff just to build out those platforms because they're just so much bigger and kind of more complicated than anything we built before. But were something I think the Laravel community like deserved. And I was kind of at this point of like, I can either coast and kind of not really take any more big swings for the Laravel community, or I can try out, you know, kind of going bigger and better and building kind of more ambitious stuff. And I almost felt like, I think some people think it's like almost selling out to take the VC, but I almost saw it as selling out the other way, because I was like going to be coasting and just sort of like, I'm living my nice life coasting and not really building anything ambitious for Laravel. And I saw that as a disservice to the community rather than like build Laravel Cloud, build Laravel Nightwatch. They're big risks, they're big swings, but like people have stuck around with Laravel for 10 years and like they deserve Laravel to go big or go home and like go hard, you know, or like really swing for something. And I felt like that was what they deserved. And I think, you know, the challenge since has been, as we grow Laravel, kind of like we were talking about before the show, like maintaining the community feel of the framework, of the ecosystem, of the conferences, so that it feels like Laravel. You know, it doesn't feel like we've changed our DNA or identity since raising money.
No, that's awesome. Do you think you'll plan on continue to scale at that same level, or you'll sort of sit back a little bit and just work on some more stuff and
yeah, I think we're definitely sitting back a little bit. I think we got, you know, our teams kind of fleshed out to what they needed to be. I don't think, you know, this time next year will be 300, 400 people or anything. Right now we're hiring kind of in ones and twos and not like 10 at a time. We always keep our eyes open for like really exceptional people, obviously, because it's a tough space, it's a complicated space, and it can be hard to find, you know, the right people for certain roles. But overall, I'm pretty happy with where we landed with the teams so far. I think we got a good crew.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am slightly partial to this because I am one of them. But for companies, especially with Laravel Cloud, with your partnerships, you've done stuff with Neon, with me, obviously, Upstash, and some other partnerships. How have you seen those sort of build the product? Because I personally, whenever I see something, it's like, oh, they're partnered with this company. It's like, oh, that's a little bit more reputation. How have you seen those sort of partnerships unfold?
When we first started building Laravel Cloud, which is essentially, you could say like, let's say Vercel for Laravel, right? Or Vercel for PHP. It was a really big task just to build like the core compute deployment platform of actually running these PHP apps. And it was a little bit overwhelming for us to think about, oh, we also need to build a database sort of product and within cloud and a Redis product within cloud. And so when we first started building cloud, we decided pretty early on, we're going to partner with people on the database side, on the cache side, on the like object storage side, which we use Cloudflare R2 for, because we had our hands full, like just building like the core platform for hosting the apps. I found that to be awesome. You know, I think like all of our partners we've had a good experience with, and like freed us up to focus like on our core competency, you know, which is not managing databases necessarily, especially not serverless Postgres databases. So it just freed us up and let us focus on what we're good at, which I think, you know, I try to do pretty consistently with every problem we tackle is like, what a unique thing are we bringing to this situation of what can we partner with or outsource to sort of flesh it out. That's sort of not something we want to be responsible for, maybe. And I think we'll probably do more in the future, even. Things like email, search, things like lots of Laravel apps need. I think those make sense as partnerships. And Laravel is interesting because now we have both Cloud and Forge, so we have like this fully managed platform in Laravel Cloud, but we also have this like VPS self-managed platform in Laravel Forge, and we sort of offer both solutions, which is kind of unique I don't really know of any other like platform companies that are kind of offering this for like a particular framework. And we're relaunching a big update to Forge actually next week, where we'll start selling like Laravel branded VPS servers that provision in like 5 seconds. So you actually, when you sign up for Forge, you will no longer need to link like an AWS account or DigitalOcean account, which I'm super excited about for new users, because I can just sign up, I can create a server in 5 seconds. I don't have to like go copy an API key from DigitalOcean or go into AWS, and I can just create things right there. So it's interesting in some ways because our biggest competition to Laravel Cloud is our own other product in Laravel Forge in many respects.
Oh no, we're winning.
But it creates an interesting dynamic, but I think it's really nice and in my opinion feels good to like genuinely offer both solutions to developers in a way where they can choose what makes sense for them. And we're not sort of forcefully steering developers down any one path, whether that's fully managed or kind of self-managed with VPS servers and stuff like that. So I kind of like giving developers options and, kind of letting them choose what works for them.
Really, really curious to talk about Laravel Cloud more and where it's going. You guys have crossed over 1 million deployments over 6 months, which is incredible growth. And I'm really curious, like, what's next for you? What's the North Star? What are you working towards? You already mentioned you're launching stuff for the week, but I want to hear a bit more longer term.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of the stuff coming up soon is like Laravel Reverb support baked into Cloud. So Reverb is like our WebSocket package for Laravel. It's kind of like Pusher or Socket.io or something like that. So you're going to be able to have WebSocket clusters in Laravel Cloud, just like you can spin one up and connect to it from your Laravel app. I think that'll probably be out in the next month or so. We're going to have a Valkey offering directly in Laravel Cloud as sort of to go next to our Upstash offering. So this will actually be Valkey clusters that we are running on our own infrastructure. We'll be launching that. We're about to launch an API. We don't have an API yet for Laravel Cloud, so we'll be shipping that. And then longer term, a lot of our exploration, I think, is around like faster hibernation, faster waking up from hibernation. We have hibernation in Laravel Cloud now. It's like a 5-6 second cold start because of how the Kubernetes and stuff is set up. So we really want to get that, like in terms of milliseconds, not seconds.
But you did not mention AI. Not even once.
To be fair, we have released a few AI things, and we have a few things in the cooker. So like some of the recent stuff we've shipped around AI in the last like month or two is Laravel Boost, which is like a local MCP server. You install it via Composer, and then it starts up, and it's a local MCP server that like Cursor or Claude Code connects to. And we converted all the Laravel docs, and not just our own docs, but like the Inertia docs, the Livewire docs to embeddings, and we put up a hosted like docs server for the entire Laravel ecosystem that this MCP server has access to as a tool. The MCP server also has like a bunch of other tools to run. It can like inspect your database, run artisan commands. It knows. We also ship like opinionated Cursor rule files and agent files to guide the LLM to write Laravel in the way that's like modern Laravel should be written. So we released that, which kind of like tries to improve the quality and like accuracy of the code that Claude Code and Cursor are generating for Laravel. And so we're always feeding it the most up-to-date info. We also just shipped last week our Laravel MCP server package, since MCP is like the thing everyone seems to be talking about. So we put that out, really quick way to build MCP servers with Laravel. We're kicking off work on a few other AI related things. I'm not sure they're like shaped up enough to really commit to talking about them, but it's definitely a focus for us. It's always a balancing act of like letting AI consume the entire company in like this very like hype driven way, while also not being totally left behind, on the AI stuff, because there's definitely elements of it that are like here to stay and are super important, I think, and things we want to explore. We're not putting like Laravel, the AI company, in the hero section of Laravel.com or anything, in the next week or two.
Do you have an AI page? That's the real trigger right there.
We do have a design for it. We don't have it up. I have the design for it. I just got the Figma for it last week or two.
You're safe. Laravel.com/AI is a 404, which you're good for now.
For better or worse, it is coming soon, I think. So But mainly we need a place to talk about our Boost and MCP SDK stuff
Right.
for now.